Can't keep a good man down. Well, chains. Besser bricks with chains through the Besser bricks. Enough holes into the abdomen so it doesn't bloat and make the float. No, you can keep a good man down. Just got to put in a bit of effort, like all things. Hi, Joanne. How are you? I was here a minute ago and then I got bumped. Just started talking about serious stuff. You know how it is. All of a sudden you start having issues. Like, yeah. Ooh. He's live. I'm alive. Something happened that sounded weird. Here we go. Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, yes. However, there's a little thing that we have, especially like if you're dealing with the police, they will, as we all know, if they feel like it, come and interact with you, whether they have a lawful right to hinder you and interact with you or not. If they decide they want to, you know, it's just them. Community policing, you know, having a chat like human. Just talk to me like a human. You're not. Look, when I go there. The thing is, there are times when how you approach the situation to clarify the situation can in itself sort of end the situation. So it's not about, you have the right to do this. Am I under arrest? Are you detaining me? No, none of that stuff. You know, it looks all good on a YouTube video, but it doesn't really get you the kind of result you want to be getting. And even if you watch those YouTube videos, you will see that it starts with 2 police officers and usually ends up with 12. And if that's the kind of result you're looking for, then yeah, sure, go. Are you detaining me? What right do you have? No, I'm not. You know, you can do something very effective in a very, very simple way. Okay, in a polite way, in a non-aggressive way. Okay, because what you've got to be doing is keeping your behavior above reproach at the same time as highlighting their behavior. So these very simple 4 words, they're in the title of the video. I can't see it, but it should be there. Well, the say nothing thing can get you into trouble in certain things, but I like that. Say nothing. I love those videos. What do you say? Fucking say nothing until you get a lawyer. We've got a different... So why do you ask? Okay, 4 simple words. Why do you ask? All right, seems like a very simple phrase. It's not very offensive. It's not threatening. It's not aggressive, is it? Why do you ask? However, it's a very effective phrase if you're dealing with the police. Hey, Doc Strange. Whoop, whoop. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. One of the OGs from the US, the Doc. And, oh, look, OG from the OS. OS? No, AUS. Oh, the original OG. Oh, man, you know, you start talking serious stuff and they start going, oh, you've just got bad. Yeah, shut the fuck up. I love that. It's dark. Yes. So Drug Policy Australia one, if you want to go to the Drug Policy Australia webpage, they've got all sorts of T-shirts you can order, including the drug laws are stupid, and they're handy ones to have. especially here in Melbourne, there'll be a whole lot of events happening through April under the Drug Laws Are Stupid banner. Please come along, support the cause, get involved. Woohoo! Let people see us making a difference. So yes, why do you ask? Simple phrase, non-aggressive. You're not being recalcitrant. You are, in fact, asking them a very important question in a very, very non-offensive and non-aggressive manner. You see, for a police officer to, say, ask you for your identification, now, they'll try it. They'll go, bloke to a bloke. Oh, what's your name? My name's Barry. You can see it on my badge. As you're going, hey, mate, I've got fucking recording you. It's on my Facebook. It's on my Facebook. You go, yeah, mate's here. Name's Raptor. Wanker, my friends call me. He's driving a desk now. Anyway, and they go, what's your name? And you go, I don't want to tell you. Mate, you're refusing. See, refusing, they're indicating that you're, on the verge of committing an offence there, right? But what they haven't done is clarified whether or not they're making a lawful request or not. See, if it's a lawful request, if they're saying, who are you? And they've got a lawful reason for doing so, you've got an obligation to actually identify yourself. But the lawful reason is like a very, very fine, defined set of parameters, right? Like if they catch you going through the window of somebody's house and it's not yours and you don't have an invitation, that's a lawful reason for asking who you are. If they catch you just, coming out of a window, walking away carrying a telly, yeah, that's a lawful reason for asking for your identification. If they catch you hanging around the backyard with a hammer, looking like you're about to approach a window, once again, a lawful reason, right? Because that's how they define these things. You're either in the process of committing a crime, you're leaving the place of a crime, matching the description, carrying the television, or you're hanging out in an area in a suspicious manner. Like, you're looking at a window with a hammer in your hand going, oh, I could break that. Those are the lawful reasons for asking you. So if they've got a lawful reason and you go, nah, fuck off, mate, that's my telly, I'm not telling you who I am, it's not going to work out well for you. However, if you're, just wandering down the street with a couple of your mates and, a couple of coppers walking the other way and they go, how you doing, fellas? How's your night going? Good. Yeah. What's your name, mate? I'm not telling you. You see, now all of a sudden everything blows up. Okay. However, if you reply with, why do you ask? The onus suddenly changes. Okay. Because the onus isn't on you to comply with the officer at that moment. The officer, in a lawful manner, has been asked, right, to articulate what the lawful reason is for making the request for the ID. Like you're saying, what's my name? So you want to know who I am. Why do you ask? Do you have a lawful reason for asking? And if they don't provide you with a lawful reason for asking, then you're under no obligation to tell them, nor are you liable for charges for not identifying yourself, because if they've not provided you with the lawful reason once you've asked them for it in a very articulated manner, I like that one, David. Didn't I tell you? Well, then I guess I didn't want you to know. I would have just went that direction and I'm going in that direction, if that was the way the car was pointing. But I stopped driving because I didn't want those interactions with the police anymore. It was pretty much the only place they could get in my face. other than at the events, and I'm not worried at the events. But it was the only place in my life I was putting myself under their control was when I was getting behind the whole, like, driving a vehicle. So never ever anymore. I even let my license expire a couple of years ago. So like a truck license, yeah, like thousands of dollars to get a truck license and training and stuff like that, and just go, okay. It's not about being impaired, it's about having the presence. And let's be honest, that's always going to happen. So the why do you ask? It's not aggressive. Okay, but what you are doing in a very concise manner is you are asking them to articulate why they're asking you the question, whatever it is they've asked you. Okay, where you been? Oh, why do you ask? At which point they can say, oh, someone matching your description was seen in this area here and there was a break-in. And you go, well, no, I was actually over that area over there. Okay, and I have witnesses. Now, at that point, they could end the interaction, or they might want to keep going further. Ask you another question. You go, why do you ask? So, well, I've already told you I wasn't over there. I was over there, and there's witnesses. Yeah. Keep the onus on them to articulate why they're asking you the questions, but do so in a respectful, polite manner. Don't invite the aggressive nature that lays within their heart. Don't tempt them to, hurt you for resisting arrest. What's the best position to take when approached by a Victorian police officer? Face down, hands on the back of your head, hopefully with somebody filming. It's going to be harder for them to say you attacked them. That's how they justify it often. Yeah. I don't think it's nice, to actually to be, to have, it's weird, there's like so very, very few places where a police force is actually, like nominated by the UN for its lack of human rights. It's disregard of human rights and so forth. Those kind of things, those awards are usually reserved for places in combat and, where you've got despotic governments and so forth. But, no. The Victorian police force has actually been highlighted for its crimes against sort of human rights and so forth, and the vulnerable, especially here in Victoria. I mean, there's something special about that, isn't it? Having a police force that actually has the United Nations go, fuck, geez, they're a bit rough. I mean, these are the guys that are overseeing countries
so
where
much
raping people in the
so
streets.
many different directions.
At least here they do it in the police stations where nobody can see. For those of us, those of you that have got a few years on you and have been fighting this fight for a long time, there was a time before this linking together on the social media platforms, as it were, where a lot of our fights were very much small little pockets. And in a lot of ways, we didn't have the strength to achieve the changes that we need. But here now, our strength is in the millions spread across the globe. I said globe. Sorry, no offense meant. We're in a position to affect change, not effect, affect, make it happen. Because change is actually, hey Shaka, welcome back. Change is it's the movement of people, taking a step forwards in a new direction, a direction that has to be traveled because the direction that we are in right now is destructive. It's not working. We are destroying our environment. We're destroying our communities. We're destroying our social in culture and identities. We are not all one. We are all individuals and need to be accepted as such. Trying to coalesce everything into this bland oneness There's only one place for oneness, and that's in your souls, in your spirit, in the respect for one another, but in one another's differences. Sometimes we're looking inward. You know? Acceptance of the self makes it a lot easier to accept others. Instead of resisting aspects of the self that conflict with other people's expectations, the only person that can evaluate how well, who you are and all of that kind of stuff in life is you, because nobody else knows what it is to be you. So many aware, awakened kind of people around the world find themselves sort of gathered with others, passing a bong or a pipe or a blunt. It's like this awareness that things aren't right. But we're heard. We need direction. We need to know where we're going. And we haven't had that for a long time. We haven't had a picture of a future. And that's what we need. We need to see a future with the changes. Prohibition has to go. Does that mean we just open the door for every substance and just go open slather? No, that would be ridiculous. Do we let anyone just go down to a chemist and fill their pockets with opiates? No, we don't. We regulate them, and we have someone that knows, or supposedly, let's just going into the whole new sort of thing, isn't it? Overprescription of opiates to patients. My mistake. Okay. Stick to cough medicine. Okay. Don't just wander into the chemist and go, yeah, I'll have 3 cartons of your cough medicine, please. Chemists will go, no, mate, that'll give you the runs for 3 weeks. No good for you at all. All right. You get advice. So you don't do that. It'd be bad for your body. So the same sort of thing when it comes to substances that you use for recreation. Cannabis is pretty much a given everyone, like there's very few people that don't understand that there are no really nasty consequences to cannabis use. Only those that are still stuck in that reefer madness level of misinformation have any doubts that people don't die. Never have and never will. Which is kind of you would have thought it'd be the winning card on the table throughout this discussion, but it's kind of been ignored. They're still saying it's dangerous, despite it's not actually done anything to harm anyone forever. How do you get away with doing that? How do you get away with saying, oh, it's like a dangerous stuff, terrible stuff, when it's been around literally for thousands of years and it's never harmed anyone? And you go, oh, no, fucking dangerous, it's dangerous. There's like millions of people using it every single day with no harmful consequences whatsoever. Oh, danger, danger, Will Robinson, don't touch that stuff. Like, how do you get away with that kind of bullshit? How does it stick so long to the wall and smell so bad? Hey, Bobby, welcome back. Deb Lynch, ladies and gentlemen, president of the MCUA. That's the Medical Cannabis Users Association here in Australia. The founding nana of the MCUA Canananas. Well, it's just the Canananas. Well, it was, Ancient J and the Canananas. But the beautiful lady that walks like a champion, talks like a champion, and fights like a champion for the rights of patients all around this country, while being a patient herself and recently suffering an amputation. But it's cool because now she's got the coolest bionic leg ever. Not really, not yet, but one day. Get one that's she'll be able to jump over tall buildings and stuff. It'd be cool. I'd be happy with one that could extract dabs. Yeah, you put a little butt into it and hit a button, it goes, and a little dab thing comes out in a cartridge and just sort of like, good on your leg. That's what we got to look at, Deb. Yes, Debbie's actually going through still with the court case because the police came in and took her medicine. She's just like literally one of the sweetest ladies, but one of the most formidable people. So that balance of both that you sometimes find so rarely. But she is fucking awesome. So check out the MCUA pages and stuff and the groups. I always get the website wrong. So I won't do it because, it's MCUA. I think it's inc.org.au, but I could be wrong because I quite often am, especially lately. There's some like gaps in my brain. They're not cannabis, they're stroke related. Cannabis is helping me actually repair them, get some of the memories and like words back. Most, some, couple. Lazy face. Looks up. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Sarah Croak, one of the most beautiful people in the world, both inside and out. One of the reasons that I actually smile regularly. Awesome peoples. So many awesome peoples, and it's literally like these are the peoples that go are bad peoples, the criminals use drugs. My God, like literally, people out there, if you don't use drugs, and you've only had that sort of distant external sort of experience, like media bullshit and so forth, please take the time to look at the people that they say are bad, because they're not. They're beautiful, awesome, and the world treats them so badly. I know I'm one of them, and I'm beautiful outside. I know lots of beautiful people. For years, we've been fighting, this thing here. It's that leaf. I mean, everybody's familiar with it. Good people have died under the fight for that. Our soldiers will never end up on a memorial wall. They never picked up guns, and they never sought to harm. But they've died in this fight nonetheless. And people will continue to do so unless we do something about it. It has to be in your comprehension by now that governments are not going to do anything. Medical organizations are not going to do anything. Corporations are just going to profit. If we want real change, it has to happen from the people. It has to happen from the people coming together. And I want to see that on 420 this year. I want to see you talking to your friends, to your family. I want to see you gathering your neighbors, casual acquaintances. Get them to a 420 event on April 20 this year. Get cameras, get it live, get it streamed, get it on every media platform, as many people as possible. Make it impossible to ignore that this has to end, that there are beautiful, good people being harmed every single day we allow prohibition to continue. That's right. We allow. because it's something that shouldn't happen. It's something that we can change, and yet it hasn't changed. Promises for so long. I've got an event next month after the 420 here in Melbourne. I'll be in Sydney on the 23rd at the Wesley Centre for the Drug Policy Australia Drug Law Reform discussion. We've got ex-New South Wales Premier Bob Carr and I think, Western Australian Premier Jeff Gallop. Now, Bob Carr was the Premier that announced 4-year medical cannabis trials, at the end of which legal access would be sorted out. That was in 1992. Now, I want to remind everyone that this is 2020. 18 years ago, the people of Australia were promised 4-year trials, which were absolutely important because we had to have Australian research. Sound familiar? Right. And at the end of which we would have access and patients wouldn't be worried and they'd be able to get to it straight away. No dramas at all. Sound familiar? Patients are still having trouble. It's coming down to these corporate entities putting in a limited range of products when all the people want is for the law to change so that they do not get arrested for putting a seed in the ground, because that's all that's required. Who's keen on having a crack? I thought we might do a petition of sorts, kick it off here in Australia, and then, you know, let it leak off to Current Affair or someone against Facebook for suppressing the medical cannabis stuff, especially since it's legal in Australia. Oh, that was pretty sucky, Facebook. Yeah, I've lost picture. I'm going to go because, hey, Craig, I can see people jumping in. It looks like I'm still live, but I'm not sure. I've got a black screen in front of me. Isn't that funny? Start talking about a petition for Facebook suppressing medical cannabis thing, even though it's legal here in Australia. Anyway, call me ancient, call me Jay. Don't call me late for dinner, though.